This is Our View, the television voice of the Washington Federation of State Employees. Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson told a recent gathering of labor advocates that defending worker rights is a priority of his office.
I happen to lead the largest law firm in the state of Washington, the Office of the Attorney General. And we have the ability every day to stand up for the working men and women of the state and to fight inequality. So my office stood up, and Jeff mentioned this matter, stood up for farm workers in Skagit County. They stood up at great personal risk to them and their families. They stood up to fight for pay for their breaks, the piece rate. They stood up and they fought for that at great risk. Now, what of course happened was we ended up in the courtroom. There was a legal fight that went up to our state Supreme Court, and my office joined their fight. We filed a brief on behalf of those workers, and last week we won 9-0 before our state Supreme Court. I lead an office of 1,100 employees, state workers. As you know, state workers have not received a pay raise in 6 years. Thanks to the Washington State Labor Council, I was proud to join you in that fight to bring those COLAs back. They are way, way, way overdue. I'm so glad we were able to stand shoulder to shoulder with all of you for that. And sometimes fighting for inequality means making sure bad things don't happen somewhere. So in the state legislature this year, there was a bill around payday lending that would have made it easier for payday lenders to prey upon the working men and women of this state. That bill, it was a bad bill, folks. It was a bad bill. And I was proud that my office led the fight with the Washington State Labor Council to kill that bill when it had momentum, and we did kill that bill this year, and we'll fight it again next year.
The president of the AFLCIO, Rich Trumka, says while public workers are a big percentage of America's labor movement, there are recent worker victories in the private sector as more workers find a union voice.
Well, first of all, in the United States, we're about evenly split between public employees and privately employees. It's about 50-50. It's a multiple answer, a multi-stage answer. One, you have to create jobs in the public sector. Two, you have to organize the people that are in those jobs. And three, unions have to make organizing and collective bargaining a priority. Because organizing and collective bargaining built the middle class in America, and they will rebuild the middle class in America. Right now, the middle class is under attack because of the waning percentage of people that have collective bargaining. Our goal is to turn that around, and we've started that process. You're seeing signs of it everywhere. With fast food asking for $15 an hour coming out, Walmart workers staging protests, car wash workers in California coming out and joining a union, taxi cab drivers affiliating with the AFL-CIO. So you're seeing signs of life everywhere and signs of a new resurgence of the American labor movement, and I couldn't be more excited about it.
The vice president of the AFL-CIO told the recent convention of the Washington State Labor Council that he's spending a majority of his time in the southern U.S., the most anti-union part of the country. Tefere Gebre says it's a matter of the labor movement going where people need the most help.
It's because I know this. What happens in Vegas, what do they say? Vegas. What happens in the South, sooner or later comes and gets you. That's right. If we don't fix the South, we're fooling ourselves if we think we're going to be fixing ourselves everywhere else. For generations, we have said, that's the South. Right to work, that's the South. Voter oppression, that's the South. That's right. But last time I checked, Michigan is not in the South. Wisconsin is not in the South. No. Indiana is not in the South. No. So we have to find it in our hearts to go and stand up for people who needs the movement the most. You see, the South has most people without health care. The South has the least wages. The South has people born in to poverty. actually more in the South than any other place. The biggest indicator of what's going to happen in your life once you're born is the zip code you were born in. So if you join us, if you support us, if everybody joins in, and we make sure in North Charleston, South Carolina, that Boeing plant is actually a union plant, we all win. Yeah. See, our southern part of this country has become sort of what Southeast Asia used to be, a dumping ground for cheap labor. You see, from Hyundai to everybody else, outsourcing to the United States. As an American, that really hurts my pride, that we're becoming a dumping ground for low-wage non-union jobs. When I see Airbus is planning to produce A320s in Alabama, good for them, as long as you are going to build those airplanes. They're not going to give it to you. They're not going to give it to us. We have to go take it. But in order to do that, that's why I'm spending my time in the South, because I know it in the bottom of my heart. If we don't fix the South, we're not fixing our country.
A new policy at Washington's Department of Health is allowing mothers to bring their newborn infants to work. Federation members there helped shape the policy to make sure it included part-time as well as full-time workers, and also gained important protections against invasion of privacy and workplace disruptions. It's another example where the union and management can work together for family-friendly policies.
This policy really goes with what the Department of Health does. We promote health, and babies are allowed here for 6 weeks to 6 months, and that is a very important time for babies to bond with their mom, their dad, their caregiver, and it really promotes brain activity, and so that goes a long way beyond their infancy, and so that's important. This also helps mothers who want to and can breastfeed. The baby's there, it gives them the opportunity. Having an infant at work, it could be distracting, and so we're monitoring how that's working with the parents that are taking part right now. So far, it's been positive. Productivity has been fine. In some cases, the parent found that they were more productive, and the morale is another big thing. This is all about a mom, a dad, or a caregiver being able to get back to work even though they have an infant. And there are actually hundreds of private companies who do offer infant at work policies similar to ours, and we took a look at that when we were putting together our policy, and there are other states in the U.S. who also offer similar programs. We were the first state agency in Washington to offer this, but other agencies are starting to follow suit, so this is maybe something that other state employees will be able to enjoy.
This policy allows new parents to bond with their children in that really critical first 6 months of life. This is a point in time when brain development is especially critical, and having that bonding with the parent promotes healthy brain development. It also helps assure health for the child in the long run. This policy also allows our moms who choose and are able to breastfeed to exclusively breastfeed for as long as they can. This, again, is incredibly important to the health of our babies and to our moms. I'd certainly encourage other employers to give thought to doing this as well. For me, this is about doing right by our family and doing right by the next generation.
So this is really part of our agency walking its talk. We promote exclusive breastfeeding, we promote infant bonding, and this is a way for our employees to be able to do those things that we tell the public to do.
In July 1965, under the leadership of President Lyndon B. Johnson, Congress created Medicare. Before Medicare's creation, almost half of those over 65 had no affordable health insurance. we mark this 50th anniversary of security for elder citizens and remember the commitment of President Johnson.
What can a nation say to these people? Can it say, yes, you have given a lifetime of toil. You have helped make America great. You have produced the sons that won our wars. But we no longer need you, and your troubles are your own concern. Well, that is not the answer the Johnson administration is going to give those people. We are going to fight for medical care for the aged as long as we have breath in our body until it's passed.
This has been Our View, brought to you by the members of the Washington Federation of State Employees, the people who work for you. We remind you, when you accept a paycheck for your hard work, you don't give up your rights. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next month.